In this video, I'll show everything I went through to get my scuba open water certification in less than a month and my first and only diving experience and vacation in Curacao. I'll point out how much I've learned and the hard mistakes that I made along the way. I'll show you how to completely set up a diving system and nearly all of the underwater skills it takes to get certified. Plus, you'll see the underwater magic and sea life of Curacao and what I got to see with my new certification. Now let's start this video with my first day at Aquatic Sports and how they helped me sign up and choose all of the right gear. You see, this all started with a friend who asked me to dive with her in Curacao. She had an extra spot on a tour there, always wanting to stretch myself and enough space on my credit card. I immediately said, hell yeah! So I started asking around and heard great things about Aquatic Sports. Shelby is the owner and was very nice and helpful. She gave me a tour, helped me with my scuba training program, and all the gear that I will need. I tried on several goggles and wetsuits to see which one will work best.
I'm gonna have you try a bunch of different styles. Jump in, like.
Okay. Then I tried several different flippers, familiarized myself with the pool and with using the new snorkel. For more on how I stretch myself and encourage others to stretch themselves, please subscribe. Thanks so much for your support. She wants me to go underwater now. It's a little scary. Here I made my way to the bottom of the 10-foot deep pool and really felt the pressure in my ears. Later I will learn how to correctly relieve that pressure. I purchased everything as a package combining the gear and certification training. The package lowered the overall cost and it was simple to one-stop shop. They had everything there and were the experts. Back here tomorrow for my first class. There's 4 classroom sessions followed by dive time in the pool. Then we are required to have 4 separate practice sessions by ourselves in the pool as well.
The fields to be 20 as you're descending down, 20, 30, 40 feet down. Not right and what is right. And a lot of times, especially in the tropics.
Each class session was about an hour. Austin was a great instructor with a high care factor. I took a lot of notes and was glad that I did. There were 2 other students, but I couldn't see much of them due to schedule conflicts. Okay, gosh. And then it resets to a new computer the next day?
Yep, the next day you'll be back to square one.
In addition to in-house classes and the pool time, there's lesson modules and quizzes that you're required to pass before getting certified. I learned a lot and they're easy, but it did take several of my evenings to complete. One of the staff members helped me set up my diving gear. She even helped me realize that I had my wetsuit inside out and I mounted my buoyancy control device, or BCD, backwards. I clearly had a lot to learn. Now, I loved doing this alone, being able to learn and practice on my own time. It felt strange to be left alone underwater, but I soon realized that worst case, I just quickly ascend to the top. But what I think I really enjoyed the most was the isolation of being immersed in a completely new environment. After all, for 53 years of my life, I had never been underwater for more than a minute. Okay, practice session number 2. Setting up the gear. Today I'm going to attempt to set up the diving system and gear all by myself. I grabbed a full tank and attached a regulator and my correct sized BCD to the tank. There's many details to consider here. This is just an overview. I then attached the primary regulator to the BCD and attached my mouthpiece to the regulator as well. Batman really was a felon. BRWAF is an acronym to test the diving system, and it's used during a buddy check.
Need those.
Buoyancy, releases or restraints, weights, air, and final check.
Boom. 2150.
You want to conduct this test before every dive.
Okay. Let's go get changed.
There are so many pieces and things to scuba diving that it can get overwhelming for sure. I had a hard time remembering everything and in what order to proceed. I let air out of the BCD to descend and then used the Valsalva technique to relieve the pressure in my middle ears. I spent time finding buoyancy control. I had no idea just how important and difficult this is to master. It was nice to access the practice lessons underwater. I ascended and inflated the BCD after surfacing. Practiced diving into the water. Removed and mounted my diving system underwater. Replaced the primary regulator with a secondary regulator. Using the secondary regulator to share my primary regulator with my dive buddy. How to properly ascend, how to emergency ascend with no air, how to properly swim at the surface, and much more. Today was test day. We had to get at least 80% correct and I got a 90. Eric also passed. Austin says there's several retries to make sure everyone passes the written portion of the certification.
Email your instructor down there and CC me on it.
Next was the water test portion of our certification. We had to pass 5 lessons. Properly diving into the water, how to properly find buoyancy and hover, how to properly ascend and descend, how to remove our mask underwater, put it back on, and remove the water.
You relax for a second, and whenever you're ready, you can see off. Gotta cough a little bit there. Keep that right shoulder stable. Go to the right. Okay, go to the loosen it a little bit. Okay.
And removing and mounting our BCD at the surface.
Just if he does drop a pouch, I can usually find it. Okay. Try
Both Eric and I passed the water portion, and now we have our scuba diver certification.
Okay, I guess that's it.
Have a great night, sir.
Thanks so much, Austin. I appreciate it.
No problem. Have fun down there.
Yeah, will do. Yeah.
Head out on Thursday, right?
Yeah, heading down on Thursday.
Relax.
I love that. You guys were a great program. It was great. Yeah, I feel ready.
Good. You are ready. You're
Okay.
good in the water.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Austin.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay, just like that, I am scuba certified, and now I have 4 classes for open water certification, and that's done in the bathtub water of Curacao. Yes, here we go.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good one.
So to be honest, up until 2 months ago, I thought Curacao was just a blue liqueur, not an actual island. Curacao is a Dutch island located in the South Caribbean just north of Venezuela. It is part of the ABC Islands and is known for its secluded beaches, cultural diversity, and incredible underwater sea life. We stayed at the Lions Dive Resort and it did not disappoint. Seriously, I've never been to a magical place like this, and it felt like I was in a dream. We settled in, and the next day I met Jake, the dive master, and 3 other divers going for their open water certification as well. I don't have any footage here because I was nervous, and there was no way I was going to film anything while getting tested. We did 3 separate shore dives today and went through mostly the basics of what we've already covered. Difference being that we're in the ocean and with different gear. One new thing we did is we swam 100 feet out and had to find our way back using just a compass. It was very disconcerting. Another thing I learned the hard way is to release the pressure from my mask. My face completely swole up and I could barely see. I've been a hot mess my first few days in paradise. The next day was dive time from the boat. I didn't know this, but our 4th and final test is an easy one. We simply needed to show that we can dive 60 feet deep into the water and be comfortable and confident in that environment. Now, I felt very disconcerted and uneasy in this setting. I was surrounded by dive veterans and I was in a completely new space. It was nice to go through the BWRAF procedure while we were making our way to the dive site. So yeah, after getting completely strapped in and ready to go, I forgot to open the tank valve. Just being completely honest here, I didn't film the first 2 days of my dives from the boat. I needed to gain the trust of my dive buddy, the dive master, and most importantly, myself. There's a lot to consider the first 30 feet of the dive. Letting the air out of my BCD, constantly releasing the pressure from my mask, constantly releasing the pressure from my middle ear, staying within 10 feet of my dive buddy, looking to stay with the group, avoid from hitting the coral sea life, etc. But once I was down at depth and found my buoyancy, I felt like I was in a magical place, a different part of the world. A turtle actually swam below me. This was way beyond my expectations. During 2 of our dives, there was a professional photographer and she took some amazing pictures of all of us. Now, scuba diving is known as a lazy man sport, but I found it to be exhausting. Not only is there a lot to consider down there, but it also takes a toll on the body.
Kaden! Here. Max! Misha! Here. Eddie!
Yes, this is my blood. I had 2 bloody noses after 2 dives. Not sure of the exact cause, but definitely pressure related. Another issue I had was with my right ear. On one of the first morning dives, I had extreme pain in my right ear, and the dive master suggested that I stay on the boat for the second dive. He said it's not worth taking the risk of blowing an eardrum, so I snorkeled around the boat while the team dove for the second time. I used ear medication that afternoon, and I was able to dive the following day. I also used different methods of alleviating the pressure in my right ear. I also descended more slowly from the surface, and sometimes would ascend a few feet and then descend once my middle ear pressure was gone. This has definitely been a learning experience.
When group 1 is told, we're going to say group 1 stand, and we want you to form 2 lines right here on each side of this pole. You're going to be like this, all the way geared up, mask on, regulators in, all of that.
Morning. I'm getting much more comfortable with this. We dive twice a day in the mornings and back on land by 12:30 to do whatever we want with the rest of our day. The following is some incredible photos of what we saw during our dives. The evening after our last dive, we all had a barbecue, and the appetizer was lionfish ceviche. Like I said, this is my first time scuba diving, and I truly feel like I stretched myself. It's when I seek discomfort like this that I learn a lot about myself and what I'm capable of, even at 53 years old. Let me know in the comments if you scuba dive or if you've ever been to Curacao. Thanks so much for watching.